Our new estimated release date is Monday, September 26th, 28th PDT. Reading is good. Reading is a good skill to have. Alright, so first is going to be the medic. I'm going to keep this pretty short, as I'm sure that I'll have much more to say in the review of the patch. First of all, it's just going to be a preview. Very short thoughts about it. And yeah, just to see what I think will happen. We can't say too much here about this one because we don't see mana cost and cooldowns. We can only talk about the design. She has a Muradin-like trait. Nova and Zeratul also have the same trait. I think that's just fine. We're gonna have to wait and see how that plays out. Nothing too bad or good about that. Healing Beam is pretty cool. It is very reminiscent of the StarCraft 1 medic. She also was constantly healing a single target. So it feels very lore accurate. And that's, after all, where the medic comes from. Lieutenant Morales. Safeguard is a very nice counterplay, or let's say opposite of Hunter's Mark. And the Cold Embrace from Sylvanas at level 16, in that it's a 3-second 25% resistant. This will not... Hey, thank you very much for the sub, Valorian. This will not be easy to use or flashy. You're not going to get a great... you're not going to get like lots of damage done, a key entangle that kills off someone, but it's very useful. And I really like this kind of talent, because you have to time it well. Then a grenade that, it seems to be a projectile that flies towards someone, and the first person it hits will knock them away. And it says enemies, which is plural, and it deals damage. So just like Haymaker, you target a single person, but they all knock away, and they all get damage. And thank you very much for the sub, Focalt Me. Appreciate it. Thank you, man. So it's basically a ranged Haymaker, which is incredibly useful on a medic, on a healer. Presumably a ranged healer, because it hasn't said whether she has a melee attack or ranged, but I assume ranged. I hope that she does have an attack, because in StarCraft 1, medics can attack. And so then we go to the heroic abilities. Basically, you give Uber Berserk for 10 seconds. It's Berserk is 40% attack speed, 10% move. This is much better than that. It's more a bit like the level 16 Butcher skill, where if he drops below half life, he becomes a raging beast. So this is obviously really powerful on a lot of heroes, particularly auto attack heroes like Illidan, Butcher, Rainer, and so on and so forth. However, usually the problem is if you get interrupted or someone runs away, disengages from a Berserk-like ability, you don't get a lot of use out of it. Now, that movement speed will help a lot. And also the fact that it lasts for 10 seconds, just like the Butcher one, helps a lot, as opposed to something like Searing attacks or Sizzling attacks, which last for only 5 seconds. So that's useful, but it's going to remain important to have someone who can lock down the enemy or protect the buffed up target. So I wonder if Medic will once again be combined with a hero like Uther to run double support comp, because that Divine Shield just remains so crucial to get full value out of glass cannon like heroes, which is why Uther is so popular with heroes like Butcher, Illidan, Kerrigan, Sonya, high impact heroes that can really suffer from being interrupted. And I don't know her talent tree yet. I think it might be available somewhere, but yeah, some kind of cleanse would be useful. Then this one. Very hard to judge exactly how good this is going to be. But it would be pretty cool. I think it'll be hard in Hero League, but amazing in competitive. There's some really cool changes here, like buffs are coming back, fountain buffs. Very happy about that. The icons, again, getting better, like Seasoned Marksman, Focus Attack, Regen Master, which is really good. People have been asking about this a lot. Show heroes on the loading screen. I think every 3 days on Reddit there was a post about it. Now Blizzard has brought that in, so that's pretty nice. Who am I up against again? Who's in my quick match team? You can now watch replays with other people, which is amazing, which we really needed, which StarCraft 1 had. Warcraft 3 did not. StarCraft 2 did not, then it did. This one did not, now it does. Really great. Really, really helpful. Then AI will now choose from better talent trees, which is great. Some people have suggested that you can take back your talent choice and choose it, re-choose the computer ones. I see a number of problems with that suggestion. What if the computer chose 5 talents you come back? Are you gonna be like AFK for 20 seconds choosing all your talents? Some people take a long time to choose. I don't think that's a great idea. Also, like, what if the computer got some kind of amazing value out of Ring of Frost, but then you want Water Elemental, and then you do a rescale to Water Elemental? Like, it creates unfair games, even though, of course, AI on your team is unfair, but this is unfair in a different way. So you're fighting an evil with another evil. I think this is a pretty decent solution, and I support it. But I also hope AI gets better. They did allude to it a little bit somewhere, that the AI gets better for traveling further. Maybe they will actually mount up if they have to go far. They said they will wait with objectives until everyone arrives, which is nice. This is a little strange. Can now accumulate stacks. You could already accumulate stacks for Seasoned Marksman. I put Rainers and Thralls in Plant Terrors before. You go put your Plant Terror Overgrowth, kills all the minions. You already get those stacks. I don't know why they say now you can. Maybe there were a few exceptions. Maybe it didn't work for GP or RM. Maybe it didn't work for DK, but it did work for GT. I don't know. AI better. This is pretty cool. I'll summarize it really quickly. In try mode, you can now fight mercs. You can turn off Malfurion. You can slider bar your level. And you can fight a target dummy. And the target dummy will tell you your stats of your DPS. Which is pretty cool. The maps all got balanced a bit. Garden Terror maps, Blizzard has said in the past that Garden Terror took too long, the games in general, and this is a pretty elegant fix. Personally, I don't like it. It seems too strong to disable the core with it. On the other hand, it is a good way to end games quicker if they want to end games quicker, so I believe it could be okay. Someone remarked that now if you have a 5 versus 4 with a plant, you can finish the game with this. But that was kind of possible already anyway, level 20 plus. Because the Plant Terror, even without disabling the core, was pretty much strong enough. If you focused enemies well with Spore Queen's Curse, the Polymorph, was good enough already. Infernal Shrines got balanced in general, you can read it yourself. Don't want to talk too much about that. Butcher, small changes, not too important. Zeratul was pretty OP, and they did tiny changes, which I think is a good thing. Let's discuss the significance. 1 damage less scaling per level on his auto attack. Okay, pretty cool. Not going to change him as a hero if that was the only thing, but it helps. A little bit less burst and damage, right? Wormhole, that one is pretty important because the way to use Wormhole from maximum distance before, stand far away, blink somewhere, take a step and another step, attack someone or do VP, and then you Wormhole back, teleporting back over a maximum distance. Now that the distance that you walk or cast spells during your Wormhole blink is now shorter. So you can't take as many steps, you can't do as many abilities. And if you get stunned for 1 second, you've lost your window to go back. Normally you would still be able to go back, now you can't. Normally it would take double stun or a really long stun or a stun at the wrong time to take you to take that away. So generally, it gets riskier to use Wormhole. Does that mean that we should now not be taking Wormhole in Zeratul? Absolutely not. I don't think Zeratul with Assassin's Blade or Burning Rage or Spell Shield is nearly as viable. He will have very low damage output, very bad at high level because people, you can see him walking up, you can reveal him. He can only walk up, attack and then blink away, or he can blink in and then certainly die if he gets locked down because he doesn't have blink back. The Wormhole will remain important, but you can't get as much mileage out of it, which I think is a good thing. And this is the most significant one. It will now be easier to zone out Zeratul so he doesn't get the perfect VP on your team, except, of course, if he blinks in and does it. But it's a bit of a difference to blink in and immediately cast the perfect VP. Less patience. Like, I mean, you have less time, so you feel more rushed. You're probably going to have slightly worse VPs. I don't think this is actually enough to remove him from the very, very wanted top choice at pro level. Void Prison still freezes enemy cooldowns. If his heroic was freeze enemy hero cooldowns, all of them, for 5 seconds, while letting your own regenerate, if that was the only heroic without stasising them, that would already be good. But he also gets the freeze positioning and allows your whole ally team to get in position. So I think Zeratul will still be tier 1. But it's nice small changes that doesn't harken back to the way that Stitches got hit with the nerf bat, where he was slam stun got removed, HP was nerfed, gorge damage halved, hook cooldown plus 2 seconds, and a slew of other changes as well. So they were much gentler, which I think is pretty fair. And then let's just see how that goes, and maybe he will need more. I think he will need more, but we'll see. Abathur, blah blah. Spider build slightly nerfed. Will that make Toad build trending more? I think yes. I think Spider build is still good if I judge the damage. But it will be slightly nerfed in damage, and the Toad build was already gaining in popularity. Choosing Toad Affinity at 7, choosing Toads of Hugeness at 13, and maybe Toad Spiders at 16, but that one was not important. So I think we'll see, even if just out of a knee-jerk reaction, we will see more Toad builds for Nazeebo as a result. Tassadar. Let's just suffice to say his shielding got better in every way, or almost every way. So a lot better shielding, but his Archon damage got nerfed. This one is disappointing for me, especially with how much it got nerfed. I don't feel like Archon was OP, because it lasts for such a short duration. So very, very short. So it was very easy to disengage from enemy Archons. Yeah, I don't think that was a problem at all. I think they, like, Tassadar was already good though. Undervalued by many. Picked at pro level occasionally. Successful whenever I used him in Hero League or when I see someone use him. So I think that's kind of the balance that they're trying to hit. But he has low damage without Archon, even if you take static charge. So we're going to see some force walling and we have better shielding, but he'll be a low damage hero. He still can't solo support. I feel like this is a change geared mostly towards quick match and his classification as a support. If you take solo Tassadar support in Hero League, it still will not be good enough because he cannot heal enough people together. Which means he's a secondary support, who now can do much less damage than before. So you have a second support. Imagine if you have Malfurion Tassadar, Rhaegar Tassadar, Uther Tassadar. You've got 2 low damage impact heroes who can do a lot of protection. I don't think that will be very popular in the meta game. So I don't think this was doing any favors to Tassadar, and I don't think he should be popular in Hero League. Even less than before, in my opinion. Thank you very much for the reset, Dr. Mania. It should be noted that Force Wall is a weak kind of CC, which can be useful to kill enemy players. So lower damage is good when you can prevent an escape from an enemy hero who would otherwise have been healed up. Stuns can be equivalent to kills just as much as damage is. And also Force Wall movement restriction, but I don't think you should be picked much. Tyrande, basically her Shadow Stoke is now a mass heal, which makes her a lot better. She was already amazing. Shadow Stoke didn't get used much. She's even better now. Tyrande, undisputed tier 1 hero now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see her top 2 pick almost every game in Hero League. Chen, a lot of rework, a little bit too complicated to exactly predict how he's going to be. He has some marginal damage increase on his Burning Rage. I like that Brew got removed from his 2 heroics and the cooldown reduction for the keg. This is pretty useful. Yeah, it is useful. I like that he's now drinking 5 Brew increments, because it's kind of weird to have like 37 Brew since you can't use it. You can't use 2 Brew. And he's got a few new talent tree possibilities, but Gonna have to try it out to see exactly how. I'm a huge fan of Chen. It's really fun to play him. He makes me feel happy anytime. So if he is remotely viable, I would love that. But I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that's the case. So Diablo gets a little bit more HP. The problem with getting more HP in terms of fixing your survivability is that you are weak against Butcher's Ruthless Onslaught, Leoric's Drain Hope, his W, because it's all percentage based on max HP, and Giant Killer, which again is percentage based. So more HP gives you barely any survivability as Diablo, and that's the problem. I like this one. I was talking about this just 2 days ago on stream. Why does his level 4 talent only give you 10 mana per minion that dies around you, when Leoric gets mana and life, and comes back quicker to life with fealty unto death when he's dead and gets it? So he had 3 utilities out of it. Diablo only 1. Yes, he did get a little bit more mana than Leoric, but he doesn't need it that much to say that that's the only thing that he could use. So I like that it also gives health now. This is pretty important. I think people might underrate this, but this is pretty big thing. This is very unimportant. Like, yes, it helps, but it doesn't happen even half the time that you hit someone into a wall. Nor can you force that, because it's up to people's, the enemy's positioning. So I do like this change, but it's not fantastically impactful. This is pretty cool. This is a level 7 talent, which gives you Relentless for 6 seconds. More important than people would imagine, but can you really take it? Or do you need battle momentum? I think you'll more often take battle momentum, because that can also give you a soft kind of escape, resetting your Q and running to a Q which is behind you. So not terribly impressed with the changes yet. This one is nice. I think we will use it. We were not using this. We got the Burning Rage level 4 aura after Firestomp. Not because we wanted damage, because it was the only good talent at that tier. Now there's a secondary good talent, and I think I will be taking it. It helps a lot for sustain. Damage going up, 1 damage per level. Mana down. And this. So he got very few changes. I'm pretty certain when I say that Diablo will be tier 4 at maximum, which makes him, I would say, worse than Chen. Definitely worse than ETC. ETC gets more HP. This is pretty significant. This is hugely significant. Only this is already much more than Diablo got by altogether. And this now gives him the same amount of stun duration as Misha from Rexar. Which, there was no reason to take ETC if Misha could do the same amount of stun with the exact same ability where you slide forward and hit people. Even though Power Slide travels for further than Misha did. But this is really huge, and I'm fairly certain ETC will go to tier 2 minimum. I think ETC is back in the meta, and I will be playing the hell out of him as soon as I can. On the PTR or on the official server. Nice. Nice. Somewhat irrelevant, but nice. I'm pretty surprised they didn't change the ETC talent, which was get more damage on your W after you use your Q, because it only gave 75 extra damage at level 20 for a level 4 talent. That one is really bad, and I'm surprised it actually filtered through the net of changes that ETC got. But it's okay to have one junky talent, as long as you don't pick it, at least. And we have a lot of utility out of the rest of his kit now, so that's really, really nice. Guitar solo healing you more is fantastic. It is half more per level, but that still matters a lot. And 2 more default. Mana cost reduction talent, Pawn Shop Guitar. This one is contested with faster Q travel speed, block, and groupies. Oh, no, sorry, progressive rock. And I normally wouldn't take this. But this is pretty attractive, but I still think you should not be taking this. You should take block or progressive rock. Or the power slide. Yeah, any except this actually, even though it got more attractive. But this is nice. It gives him 4 legit options. Progressive rock is pretty cool because yes, I had a game with I played like 12 games of ETC recently. I had a game where I collected many globes, more than you could generally expect, and it was still only 48 extra healing. Like in the mid game, it was not good enough to justify the talent because it's not active all the time. It's only active half the time if you spam your E every single time when you cast it. So for yourself, it was strictly worse. Not just a little, but much worse. And it does combine well with Groupies, the level 13 talent that heals your allies, but it didn't add a lot. Now ETC will become a very legit group healer, especially for frontliners. And yeah, I think ETC actually will be tier 1 with this, but at least tier 2. And there'll be a place for him. And he will be an amazing quick match hero because you can have healing where others don't because of the 0 versus 0 support rule. Johanna got nerfed a little. I think it's fair. She was really good. Fair. This is a pity because I'm a big Johanna fan recently. It's a real pity. But it's fair, I think. This is okay. Whatever is good. It's good. Leoric was too strong. They nerfed his Q. Fine. Burden, Haymaker, more responsive. Great. Nisha is now controllable. Great. Gonna have to try it out, see if it feels better. This talent was OP. I realized that ever since I played at Gamescom. And it got nerfed, which is good. Stitches. More HP. Becomes an anti-mage. Everything costs less mana again. Devour cooldown reduced again. Gorge. Duration increased. And more damage. Almost back to what it used to be. It was halved. This one will go 40% up if you get hungry. I think he'll have trouble staying alive even though he gets more HP. And he gets hungry for more. Again, this one is vulnerable against Giant Killer and percentage damage. But the cool thing is, both of these work in the same way that it protects you. But you can choose based on your enemy's draft which one you want to take. And I find this incredibly interesting. And I like it. I like Stitches' new position. But he will still be a low damage dealer with Slam if you don't spec into it. And these two are so interesting that I doubt you'll be taking Heavy Slam at 1. Can't take Regen Master or Block anymore, but you got better alternatives. So, I think Stitches will be fine. I don't think Stitches should ever be tier 1 because of how strong he would be if he is, how constantly picked. I think Stitches needs to be a good situational pick. That's what Blizzard was going for, and I think they hit the spot with it. Well, then they came with some bug fixes. Some of them pretty important. And some not so much. Dragon's Laser, this was my favorite. No longer hitting target heroes who are hidden in bushes. And then some skins got improved, like Vala's Angelic skin, which I have, which is nice, and a few others. So, hope you liked this preview. Now I'm gonna go play some games. Not with these changes. These won't be out until allegedly October 5th. But in 2 days, on Monday, they will be out on the public test realm, presumably. So, hope you liked it. And now we go to the standard part of the stream with music.